You want to look good, don't you?
I always gonna look great. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Bye, Grillo.
Bye-bye.
Okay, tell me when we're starting. Give me a countdown.
5, 4.
Hold on a second. Don't count down yet.
Don't count down yet. Grillo back. I'll do it. Just give me the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Girardi.
Hello, Miss Elegant.
Hi, how are you, Jerry?
I'm thrilled to be back for a new year on the AftershockXL network.
That's right. Everybody listening to Miss Elegant on AftershockXL, subscribe right away so you'll be able to hear Miss Elegant for the rest of your life. You won't be sitting in a mundane, blasé, boring life. Blasé, boring, mundane, going nowhere life. Subscribe to XL and Aftershock so you'll be always hear Miss Elegant. Okay. Hello, Joey?
This is a new character we have today. Is this the baby Miss Elegant?
Joey, are you there, Joey?
I'm here. I
want to see your mug, Jerry. Don't keep taking the screen off. So I want to start off. We have a new thing, and every week we're going to do one joke every week. I got a good joke. We're going to start off. You ready, Jerry?
I'm ready. Life has been hard, so we could use it.
Okay. So this is for the medical world and for the doctor world, the medical world, and the legal world. Everybody will appreciate this, including the people with encephalitis. That means fluid in the brain dead. Everybody will enjoy this. So a guy has all kinds of pain. A person has all kinds of pain in the lower part of his body, lower extremities. P.S. Let's go right to the point. He can't get rid of the pain. He finally goes, doctor. They diagnosed, oh my goodness, man has cancer in his left leg, malignant tumor, left leg. Nothing can be done. Radiation won't work. This is not working. They got to cut the leg off. Amputation. That's it. Too far gone. He waited too long. Okay, bingo. Slice the leg off. Operation. Okay. He's convalescing. And would you believe it, Jerry? The pain is not going away. They amputated the leg, the cancer. They took it off. And he's still in the same kind of chronic, acute, excruciating, dire, agonizing, you like all those words? Pain. Goes back to the doctor, do another MRI, reset, x-rays, more testing, biopsies, everything they can think of. Oh my goodness! They found the issue. The reason of the continuous pain, the cancer was actually in the right leg. Can you imagine this? The cancer was in the right leg all the time. Bingo, right leg off. The guy goes home, wow! Even though the legs are off, the guy feels like $1 billion would it be. No more pain, no more agonizing, excruciating, dire, dreaded, dreadful, woeful pain. Wow! But he's having ambivalence with his joy by virtue that he's out of pain, but he has both legs gone. Now, he is aware that he's entitled to have one leg gone because of his cancer, but not two legs gone. This is not right. They took one leg off by error. He runs to his lawyer, to a barrister, to his mouthpiece. Lawyer, barrister, and mouthpiece. And he tells the barrister everything that happened leading up to this. And he said, I want to sue. I'll sue to the highest court in the land. By the way, that's the words of my precious, wonderful mama, may she rest in peace. When she was dealing with the septic tank scum, she would always say to them, if they get too far out of line, she'll sue them in the highest court of the land. The prolific words of my wonderful mama, Marilyn Adele Sachs Offen. Wow. Well, this guy wanted to sue in the highest court of the land for wrongfully taking off one of his legs that should have not been taken off, the left leg. Well, the lawyer said, look, we got to build up a case. We're going to get all the records, the hospital records, the doctor's records. We're going to take deposition. We're going to do investigation. We're not going to leave anything unturned. We're not going to leave one stone unturned. We're going to do a thorough workup, and we're going to fix these mumsers. This mumser doctor's office. They won't get away with this. We're going to do come back to us in 3 weeks, and we'll tell you where we're holding and what we can do for you in compensation. Jerry, you there?
I'm waiting.
Okay. 3 weeks later, he goes back to, hi, goes back to the lawyers. Okay. You said to come back in 3 weeks, 21 days. I'm back to the day. So please, where are we going? Which court are we starting in? How are we getting these crooks with summons and complaint? How are we getting them indicted? Criminal charges, civil charges, everything. Let's throw the book at them. And the lawyer is looking at the case and his sheets as the guy is talking. And he says, well, I understand what you're saying, but I'm terribly afraid, sir, you don't have a leg to stand on. A legal term. You don't have a leg to stand on, and he has no legs.
That was pretty good. It took a long road to get there, but it was pretty good.
It didn't take no long run. I had to build it up with Miss Elegante's dramatization, right? Right.
Right.
Okay. I was passing by somebody on First Avenue. His name, Stern never heard this. When I was in the criminal world, you there, Girardi?
Yeah, what year are we talking about? I know this action was recently, but when you were in the criminal world, was this 80s, 90s? Whoa, look at that.
This was 19, to be exact, where I'm alluding to. This was 19, it's got to wipe a drop of my makeup off. Okay, this was 1987, to be exact. Hello?
Yes, yeah, 1987.
So 1987.
In New York.
In New York. As a matter of fact, it's so crazy. I live right now on 55th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. And where this heist took place was at 400 East 50. I live at 400. I'm sorry. Don't mind. Oh, my God. Let's start this all over. Let's back up. Right now, I live between 1st and 2nd Avenue on 55th Street. Noah has been to my building. He knows that. First, oh, my God, I'm getting a tongue tie. I live on 55th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. Back then, in 1987, I lived in a high-rise building at 400 East 55th Street. That was between 1st Avenue and Sutton Place, 1 block away from where I'm living now. I lived in apartment 11D like David. I was the sublessee. Viner, V-I-N-A, Safian, was the sublessor. And the person who rented us the apartment, when I say us, it was me under the name of Bob Lawrence then, and I was with the Chinese underworld. I was with the Chinese mafia at that point. So he met my Chinese co-conspirator, but he didn't know he was part of the Chinese mafia, part of the Chinese underworld. This guy, John Phelps. Now, John Phelps, not like the Phelps where you see in Mission Impossible. This guy spelled his name F-E-L-P-S. We called him John Q Ball Phelps. The reason I gave him the name, I'm the best name giver in the world, Q Ball, is because from the age of 14 years old, he had a very terrible, dreaded childhood disease, and he was totally bald from 14 years of age. So at that time,
I believe that's called alopecia, right?
What is that?
Alopecia? When you're bald at a young age?
In any event, that's funny. In any event, so I call him Q Ball. He's the one. He was like the liaison, the agent who got me and the Chinese mafia the apartment in 11D, owned a condominium owned by Venus Safi, and then she was subletting it out. Okay, so she thought she was subletting it to two people, two roommates that were using it as an apartment. We were using it on racketeering, interstate racketeering. So in any event, all right, so now to just bring it fast forward, about a week ago, I'm passing by First Avenue, as I always do, and a guy calls out, and he says, the crime of the century, the crime of the century. And I would have never recognized, everybody will recognize me because I haven't changed in 35 years. But I would have never but when I heard that voice, about 10 feet away, I said, oh my goodness, that's Q Ball Phelps from 400 East 55th. He's still alive. Everybody would have figured he's dead and buried a long time ago. He's still alive. And he called out the crime of the century because when I was pinched on August 19th, 1988, on an FBI sting and an NYPD dragnet that they had all over the city and all over the state of New York and nationwide with the FBI, when they pinched me at 58th Street and 7th Avenue on August 19th on a Friday at 4:45 p.m., I was still living in apartment 11D at 400 East 55th Street. So when I was all over the news, I was all over television. So when I was locked up on that Friday evening, my face was all they knew. I wasn't Bob Lawrence anymore, right? They saw my face, they saw the scam, they got my real name, and that was the end of that. Okay, now, talking about scams, a friend of mine, just for the purpose of nostalgia, was playing some Howard Stern vintage Miss Elegant video audio tape for me a few days ago. I don't have this kind of technology. And he played a part where Stein, as in Stein, as in Howard Stein, as in Stein, said that Miss Elegant, you are the master of the voice changeover, the master of the voice changeover. I think what Stein was meaning is like at that point, when I wanted to do the bust, the bunko, the bilking, the pump and dump, the get rich by going broke, all of that together in one, coupled together, it would be something like this. How are you? My name is Jack Borden. I represent Silvermean and Associates. That's a parent company of ours. And I'm looking to open up a line of credit for $400,000. I want you all to know I'm an honest person. Honesty is my policy. Policy is my honesty. My pappy, and my grandpappy all believe in being honest. And we're Hamish people. Hamish. And you sound like a Hamish guy. We're going to be a Hamish business. We believe in growing from small seeds to big trees. I like to sell to the masses. So I like to sell to the masses so I can live with the classes. I enjoy selling to the masses. I want to live with the classes. And if you need to, I'll verify, vouch. I don't give any finance statement. I'm not ready with Dun & Bradstreet. I don't need credit exchange information. I don't be checking. And I don't give any banking information. You're no rabbi. I don't do that. But I'm an honorable person. I was named Mr. Honesty in my high school class. Mr. Honesty. I love honesty. And if you ship me the goods, you don't have to worry. It doesn't have to go all the way through. I have my own trucks. We'll be a dockside pickup. We'll get a dockside pickup, and we'll expedite things. And don't worry, we pay our bills on time. Net 10 EOM or in next 30 days. But one thing about us, we're reputable. And if you need to vouch, get a voucher. Peter Ginsburg from Pushcart Job Lot on 5th Avenue. He can vouch for us. And Weber Discount, Weber. They're all over the city. Susan Weber and Fred Weber and Susan Weber. I play golf with them on Saturdays and Sundays. They're very fine people. I think the daughter had a crush on myself, but I was a little too busy to acknowledge it. But in any event, they're very fine people. We do business with Three Sisters and Robin's Discount Store. And we're going to be really a very fine customer. You're going to be very happy that we're doing business with one another, and we're going to take this thing to the mountain, to the sky, and there's going to be no turning back once we get started.
Is that your Tex Moishi? Is that what they named you with that voice?
That's what you were listening to.
But then you would slowly go from little girl to gangster.
Wait a minute. Do you realize that the talent of Miss Elegant? The guy who was playing this for me. And I did this for Stern, but I originally did it on the bunco, on the bust out, on the heist, on the scam, on the pump and dump, on the get rich to go broke. That was like 37 years ago. The talent has never been lost. And then I went from that metamorphosis. Howard, you're like the ultimate genius. You and the whole staff. I only wish you nice things. I am so honored to be here with you because you're so special. I always think about it. I was always wishing, always watched your programs and everything. Wow, nobody can be like Howard. You're the king of the media, and I really appreciate and anything that I could do to reciprocate, to show my gratitude and my thanks for you allowing me to come on to your show. And I always want you to know you're in my prayers and you're in my heart all the time. You're such a special person. There's no real gangster, you lowlife, you creep, you crumb bum. You can't put 3 words together in a sentence. You're lucky you had all those hookers to come on to your show. Otherwise, you'd be laying dead in a nursing home, crippled and paralyzed with encephalitis.
The Jekyll and Hyde. The Jekyll and Hyde. So, Miss Elegant, quickly about that, I got to tell you.
How did I give it to you between the eyes?
You just did, and that's my favorite when we have the metamorphosis. But I have a question about the bus.
Did you hear the brilliance from the southern draw to the little girl to the gangster? Did you hear it or not?
Of course I heard it. It's one of my favorites. But I must say, while I love it, the southern drawl to me comes off as a little inauthentic. And I wonder what the people that you were buncoing, I mean, they had to have some room temperature IQs to send you $500,000 worth of product.
What do you mean a little less authentic? What do you mean a little less authentic?
Well, let's not a large pot.
Are you speaking out of being Parkinson's or Alzheimer's? Which one are you saying? Hello. Don't speak when I'm interrupting. Never speak when Miss Elegant is interrupting. Never speak when Miss Elegant is interrupting. Never speak when Miss Elegant is interrupting. So as my wonderful mama would say, may she rest in peace, when you're senile, you're in your second childhood. You're in your second childhood. That's the exact definition of senility. So are you in your second childhood? What do you mean they sent me $500,000? They sent me $30 million across the country, coast to coast and border to border. You're in your second childhood. Right?
Can I ask my question now?
Never speak when Miss Elegant is interrupting. Remember that for the rest of your life.
I'm going to write that in my notebook. But so you did say, it wasn't $30 million on every single one. It was a truck full of heist. But,
hello. Collectively in Florida, it was $30 million.
Right.
Collectively in New York, it was $30 million. It was $60 million on a grand total on a period of 5 to 6 years in a row, nonstop.
All right. There's so many questions from that. I'm gonna divert from the one because I don't think I'm gonna get it.
So in any event, forget it. I just gave it to you. That was it. Let's move on.
No. One question. Where did all of that money go? Were you living a $10 million a year lifestyle on yachts and mansions, or is that money buried somewhere? Is it in Bitcoin? Where did I know you've always said that you don't have it to pay restitution, but how lavish was the lifestyle you were living to go through approximately $30 to $60 million in that time period?
Listen, I'm sorry to tell you that You're beyond senile. You're beyond Alzheimer's. You're beyond Parkinson's. You're beyond encephalitis. You're beyond any crippling brain disorder. Don't you understand, Jerry? Do you understand when you get 30 million in one shot? You're selling this here to the underworld. You're selling this to the mob. You're selling this to professional gangsters. They're paying you in cash money, in dead presidents, just a minor percentage of the $30 million of what the invoice value is, of what the intrinsic value is. Invoice, intrinsic value. They're paying you a percentage in cash, an infinitesimal percentage in cash. So the 60 million really only became like 6 million, right? But 6 million in those days is like 60 million today, right? Right, Jerry? Jerry,
All right.
you get the understanding? But Jerry, more importantly, right this minute, I don't think I don't think you're going to get this, but let's hope that you can raise your level right now of intelligence quotient. Let's hope you can raise your level for this particular segment. So, in terms of what's going on in the White House, the world, Donald Trump, insurrection, National Guard, insurrection, inciting a riot, impeachment, Joe Biden. You there, Girardi?
This is definitely something that the world wants to hear. Is your opinion?
It has nothing to do with any of it. It has nothing to do. It has to do with the Rabboni Shalom, the master of the universe, the Abishter.
I thought that was He-Man.
Hello? When I'm talking about the Abishter, keep your hold closed, please. The Abishter, in Yiddish, the one up above, the Abishter, Eibeshter, the Abishter, the one up above, the sacred Abishter, the Rabboni Shalom, the master of the universe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, Hashem, Hashen, the name for God, meaning the name. Okay, so what has transpired? Now, Jerry, just try to follow. Please, I beg you. Please, Jerry, try to follow this. So, the Abishter put all this massive violence into the White House. So now, check this out. Why would Hashem, who stands for righteousness, godliness, and holiness, and wholesomeness, and wholeheartedness, why would he inflict this violence and death and destruction into a house that is supposed to, per se, P-E-R-S-E, per se, with all their delegates, right? Councilmen, congressmen, senators, governors, presidents, vice presidents, lawmakers. That's supposed to be a house of righteousness, a law-abiding house, a house that is supposed to be the role model for the world, the White House. Why would God not only allow this, but he put it into it? Meaning like when 9/11, dear God, sent the guided missile into the World Trade Center, it was sent in by God. So, P.S., it's a very simple thing. Jerry, try to stay with this ideology. So the lawmakers are a bunch of crackpots. When I say crackpots, I mean a bunch of screwballs. When I say screwballs, I mean a bunch of weak-minded, panty-waist, pusillanimous jellyfish. Now, all the laws they made across the country is allowing all of our families and the families of our loved ones and our friends to be killed and mugged and hurt and maimed and shot and stabbed. You know why? Everyone's not because of the National Rifle Association, because we are not taking care of the crimes, because of the lawmakers. So meaning, whether you're 83 or 13, like I told Stein, I told it to Stein, 83 or 13, you commit felony murder. You commit attempted murder. Even if the person doesn't die, you go to the gas chamber, 13 or 83. gas chamber, electric chair, gallows, nuked, garrote, lynched in public. 13 or 83, doesn't matter, anything in between. Now, you know what that would happen? Now, any other kind of violent felony where somebody gets hurt, but it wasn't attempted murder, no parole, no probation, 25 years, mandatory, hard time. So you know what that would do, Girardi? Think about this. Even you can think about this, right? Think about this. So the front page of the New York Times says 14-year-old convicted of attempted murder is fried, F-R-I-E-D, fried, gas chamber fried. So now everybody sees the paper. They go back to their communities, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brownsville, East New York, Harlem, Spanish Harlem. Hey, one of our homeboys just got fried. He just got barbecued. He just got toasted. He's toast. That execution of these wanted rapists, muggers, killers sends the message. Do that for a year. Keep frying them and burning them, putting them in the electric chair, lethal injection, string them up and lynch them. That will be the ultimate deterrent of crime, and we'll have a peaceful world and no more killings and muggings and maimings and bugging and stabbing and killings. Now, so where does dear God come into this? Dear God, realized that these pusillanimous, weakling, panty-waist, low-life delegates in the White House are responsible for all of these insufficient laws, LAWS, that are made, right? So God, dear God, put some violence and destruction back on their own head, right? He recoiled it. He ricocheted it. Dear God, boomeranged it onto their own heads. Dear God's giving the delegates, the Congress people, the lawmakers, a taste of their own medicine. Let's let them see how it feels to be a victim of violence, like all these wonderful people that are losing their children and being carjacked and hijacked and stabbed and shot and killed unmercifully, unconscionably, leaving all their families busted up, brokenhearted, bleeding. Now, the Congress people and the lawmakers, them and their families are going to bleed. As Hashem put the violence, dear God, put the violence back on them. You got the picture? I gave it to you right between the eyes. Right between the eyes.
I feel it. So I don't totally agree with that sentiment. But my question to you would be, if Hashem is willing to bring all of this negativity to, I guess, even the playing field, where is the benevolence of this God to then bring the country back together? Because it sounds like a lot of what you say that God does is all on the negative side of things that have effects to us humans on Earth right now. So where is the beauty and the bringing together of people? And how does this end? How do we get through this?
I can't believe that somebody is like yourself is so inept, so incapable, so incompetent to understand and grasp. Dear God has given all of these lawmakers and the White House and all of the politicians and all the political dignitaries about 1 million years, in a manner of speaking, to do justice for the country, to make the laws tight enough and tough enough that there's no turnstile justice, there's no revolving door justice, there's no recidivism, that everybody, regardless of age, color, creed, gender, you commit murder or attempted murder, you leave somebody bloodied up to die with malice aforethought with premeditation, you go to the electric chair, you go to the gas chamber. Now, Girardi, come on, even somebody as simple as you can understand that's the ultimate deterrent. When that word gets out and you keep doing this, like, week after week, and after 1 year, you'll see the world is a different world. There's no more criminality. There's no mass violence, it'll be reduced. There'll always be some, but it'll be reduced by 70, 80%. So when they're talking about on the news, oh, the police, they were too tough with George Floyd, and they should have took the guns and shot them ice cold, shot them dead in the street. People are breaking up Macy's windows. People are taking the stores apart on Fifth Avenue, using it for their own aggrandizement, rioting and looting, and using it in the name of George Floyd. Shoot them dead. Shoot them dead on the spot. Shoot and ask questions later. They're coming at the police. They're coming at the police to hurt the police. The men in blue, the finest police department in the world. Take them out.
Got it. So with that, can we move on to another topic?
Yeah. What time do you have, Girardi?
We got another 20 minutes or so.
What time do you have? What time? What time do you have? I said, what time do you have? What time do you have?
It's 2.
2 exactly?
Yeah, 2:04.
All right, Jerry.
Okay. So let's get into something that's close to your heart. What
do you think is close to Miss Elegante's heart, Jerry?
Well, obviously, pristine physical fitness.
Jerry, you came alive. Jerry, wait a minute. Jerry, you were just resurrected. Jerry, resuscitation, Jerry. Jerry, revivify Jerry, yay!
Oh, wow, that was wonderful. So, I read a quote today that's one of my favorites. It's by my favorite American, Ben Franklin, that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Benjamin Franklin,
the greatest American in my opinion. So other than Miss Elegant. So we're at a point now.
Jerry, you're outdoing yourself. That's great.
I set the bar very low. So
yeah, wait, stop, Jerry. You know what? You know who I thought you were talking about? I thought you were talking about Joe Franklin from Channel 5. He had a news show in 1950 at 1:30 in the morning in New York. Joe Franklin. I thought you were talking about Joe Franklin. That was great, Jerry. Excellent.
I'm not talking about Joe Franklin or Art Klein. I'm talking about Ben Franklin and health.
So, do you know who Joe Franklin is?
No, I do not.
You do?
I don't.
Okay, next.
Okay. So a lot of information coming out about the vaccine. Unfortunately, the coronavirus vaccine rollout is not going well. So for those people, the deadbeats, the never wases, the people who are just not following the Elegante lifestyle of physical fitness, what can people do who want to get the vaccine but aren't able to get it? What should we be doing prevention wise? Vitamin D? Is it supplements? Is it nutrition? What are you doing specifically to avoid the coronavirus? And if I can add on to that, I know you hate when I add on, do you wear a mask? Because I have evidence to show in a little bit that you do not wear a mask in public.
I never wore a mask for 30 seconds in any time since virus 2019.
Wow.
On the outside, inside, taxi cabs, in stores, outside. There were no masks ever, never. Now, as far as vaccines, can't give you any information because for my entire life, as I'm approaching 71 in July, I have never in my life, unless my wonderful mama got it for me when I was 5 or 7 years or 8 years old, but since the life that I've been on my own, I have never had a tetanus vaccine, a flu vaccine, whatever these cold vaccines, who knows what they are. Never in my life have I had one vaccine. So I can't tell you anything about it. I don't know anything about it because I wouldn't even think about it. It's unthinkable. It's unimaginable. It's unfathomable. It's unheard of. A person who's in optimum health, we go by the soil. If your soil is right, nothing, God willing, is going to be able to penetrate or permeate that soil. So I have no information to give you, and I am not involved with any vaccines. I wouldn't take a vaccine if you put a 38 caliber Harrington and Richardson. That's a gun, by the way. A 38 caliber Harrington and Richardson. If you put a 9mm Bernadelli, that's a gun, by the way. If you put a 9mm Bernadelli to my head, I wouldn't take a vaccine. As far as what to do, Solgar Zinc 50 milligrams is excellent. The vitamin B complex is excellent. Vitamin C, Solgar, ascorbic acid, 10 to 20,000 milligrams per day is excellent.
Now, are you taking all of these?
I take my regular supplements. I'm just telling you what the crippled world should be doing if they're nervous and they're sickly and they're in downgraded health. They should make sure they stay away from all processed food, stay away from all canned food, stay away from all dairy products, stay away from all meat products. Make sure you're doing high caliber aerobic exercise to the best of your ability 7 days a week. Make sure, because that, as I told you about a million times, that sweat that's coming out of your body from the pores in your skin, that is the coronavirus. That is the poison. That's the flu. That's the toxicity. That's the toxemia. Take it from a person who lives that lifestyle. Don't go to Pritikin, because Pritikin is a beef stew. Right? Pritikin is a broken because they don't live the life. I'm living this lifestyle. Okay. On that note, by the way, of good health, thank you.
Yes.
Are you there, Jerry?
I'm all ears.
Thank you. So your wife, you shared with Miss Elegant. Thank you. We won't go into any names or anything, but your wife allegedly, I don't have any proof of it. You told me, so I'm taking it face value. Is a general practitioner in New Jersey. Wonderful. Mazel tov. So then that's all the better. So you can go home tonight. If you're not estranged from her, if you're not divorced from her, if she didn't kick you out of the house already, if everything is copacetic, and it's mafia talk for copacetic, you can go and authenticate the authenticity, certify the certification, validate the validity, and upgrade this, what I'm telling you. So everybody is screaming in the world, in addition to coronavirus, they've been screaming for years, osteoporosis, especially the dishes. Dishes is a quasi-mafia word for girls, the dishes, osteoporosis, after 40 years, osteoporosis. It's not osteoporosis, it's osteoporosis, like osteoporosis. Did I get it right? osteoporosis, osteoporosis. Yeah, I got it exactly. So not osteoporosis, osteoporosis. So now, what you need to know about osteoporosis, I meant osteoporosis. What you need to know about is, it's simple. If you don't want to be challenged with osteoporosis, make sure you have 2.5 pounds of calcium as a reservoir. R-E-S-E-R-V-O-I-R. 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 It's a French word, French reservoir in your bones. So your bones will never become soft and mushy and jelly and frail and fragile and brittle. 2.5 pounds of reservoir of calcium throughout your muscular skeletal system. Now go back and ask your old lady, Jerry, your wife, excuse me. Ask your common-law, your wife, of what I just said is right. Okay, 2.5 pounds of calcium inside the bones of the muscular skeletal system. All right, Jerry, you there?
I'm listening intently.
Thank you. Make notes. Go back to your wife. In any event, now, so you're supposed to say, well, Miss Elegant, how does one accomplish that? How do you know about this? So for you to have 2.5 pound reservoir, so your bones are like Miss Elegant, when I'm cracking up and down on the sidewalk with high voltage running for 34.5 years, bones like steel. So to get it that way, you have to have 1,500 milligrams of natural calcium, not supplements, because that doesn't do any good. That has to be synthesized with vitamin D. Forget about that. Natural calcium, 1,500 milligrams every single day to maintain 2.5 pounds of calcium in the musculoskeletal system. The only blood calcium level, that's BCG, like that's blood calcium level, like BC. Excuse me, I'm not God, I messed it up. BCL, blood calcium level. BCL. Just like BGL is blood glucose level, BCL. So that should be 8.5 to 10.5 milligrams per deciliter of blood. MGDL. The doctor's right at MG/DL. 8.5 to 10.5. Nothing else is acceptable. Now, are you there, Jerry?
Yes.
Now, if your blood calcium level is not 8.5 to 10.5 mgdl, milligrams per deciliter per blood, then something interesting is going to happen. So the parathyroid glands, which sit, they're embedded in the thyroid glands in the neck. They're embedded into the thyroid gland. Now, if the blood calcium level drops below 8.5, it's supposed to be 8.5 to 10.5, so the parathyroid gland thinks this is an emergency. So what does the parathyroid gland do? It releases a hormone. And this hormone that the parathyroid gland is releasing is to activate and mobilize the calcium that's in your bones to bring the blood calcium level back up, taking calcium out of the bones, putting it into the bloodstream, so the blood calcium level is back to 8.5 or 10 to 10.5 per milligram per deciliter per blood. That's all fine, great. Hello, but then what happened? So you accomplished it. So the calcium level fell. The parathyroid gland recognized it as an emergency. It drained out enough calcium and put it in the bloodstream. So the blood level is back to normal. You would think you're copacetic. Mob talk for copacetic, but you're not, right? But you're not okay. You're not okay. Because now the bones where the calcium are missing what they need to have the 2.5 pounds every moment of your life to have bones that are solid steel, in a manner of speaking. So now the bones, now they're going to start screaming, my bones are soft, my bones are breaking, my hip bones, my knee bones, my elbow bones, my knee bones, my hip bones, I have osteoporosis. Now you got the picture?
Crystal clear.
Did you get the picture?
I did. That's why
Get it?
I get it. That's why a bunch of elderly people break their hips and their legs and stuff, because
Did you get it? I gave you between the eyeballs. Did you get it?
I got it.
Doctors can't put it together like this. Doctors can't have trouble putting 4 words together in a sentence. It's incomprehensible. It's beyond belief, beyond definition, Miss Elegance. The genius of the genius. Well, I give all my credit to the one up above. I don't have any genius. I only have dear God, who allows me to be able to accomplish whatever I'm able to accomplish, because dear God gives me that strength and energy and gives me that fortitude and that desire to move forward. And the end result is it's only to praise dear God's name, because the whole world and everything in it, as we said a million times, the good and the bad belongs to dear God. And again, Jerry, try to please understand what I was saying. I know it was too far over your head, and I expected it to be. But the violence on the White House, let's just go back for 1 second on that.
1 second.
The violence on the White House is, these are supposed to be, again, these are supposed to be our best people in the world, the role models of the world. Now, God is attacking the role models because they're not role models. They're allowing our families, our, meaning in general, our families, our children, our grandchildren, our moms, our dads, all of our precious people to be killed with no consequences. And they're going to keep being killed because there's no consequence. And keep getting killed and mugged and bloodied and shot. So the answer is not to stop guns with the NRA, off rifle and rifle. Forget about it. Change the friggin' laws. Change the laws and put them in the gas chamber. Put them in the electric chair. Put them in the gallows. Put them on the noose. Lynch them.
But if that happened, for years past, you wouldn't be here with us today based on your past.
Jerry, you're a very sick. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say the word. I'm going to say, I don't know if it's a bad word, so I'm going to spell it. Bastard. That's not a curse word. You're a sick puppy dog. Jerry, what do you mean I would? I didn't do any violent crimes. What about? All I do is why I'm talking about. Don't you hear, Jerry? Can you take the cotton? Can you take the dirty wax out of your ears? Can you take the dirty wax out of your ears? Can you take the dirty wax out of your ears? Can you take the dirty wax out of your ears? Can you take the dirty wax? Can you take the dirty wax out? Didn't you hear me saying mugging, stabbing, killing, shooting, bloodying up people? Do you understand the differential? Do you understand the differential? Yes or no?
You're trying to make it seem like what you did was a victimless crime, and there's no such thing as a victim.
I didn't say a victim was stupid. I didn't say that, stupid. I didn't say that. It's a violent crime. Violent, bloody, knife, stabbing, killing, shooting, mugging, maiming, paralyzing. Right? Mine was a money crime. So yes, there's different penalties for that, right? But when we're only talking about the violent crime, the destructive crimes, the crimes that are taking our families and children and the lives of our loved ones, stupid.
Hello. I got it. Okay. What's it? We got 10 minutes.
What time is it? What time is it?
10 minutes before you need to be done.
What time is it?
2:21.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of your own, Jerry?
I do. There's a lot of fan questions today. First one might not be great, but we keep things real here.
Okay. Wait a minute. Hello.
I need you to get close to the screen.
Never talk when Miss Elegant is interrupting. Okay, Jerry, spill your guts, spill your kidneys, spill your pancreas, spill your liver, spill your, don't talk when I'm interrupting. Spill your biliary ducts, your biliary ducts, your biliary ducts, your biliary ducts, your bile ducts, your biliary ducts. Spill it.
Okay. Reddit, very famous website app. There's a Howard Stern subreddit, and you're often brought up on there. And there was a picture of a gentleman who was driving an 18-wheeler about a week and a half ago. And he said he screamed right out the window, and you screamed a profanity at him, but I don't care about that because we've talked about the only reasons for that. But you're wearing a very interesting outfit. I thought typically you're either in full man gear on the holidays or full ladies G-string lingerie when not. And if you can take a look at this picture here, it appears that up top you're wearing a lady's outfit, but those appear to be men's slacks. So I'm just wondering.
I can't see the pictures, silly.
You gotta take the cataracts out of your eyes.
No, you take your cataracts out of your eyes, right? I'm trying to be elegant because if you're here, I'd punch you right in the mouth. Can you close your hole and listen? So what they did, I don't own any top like that. So what they did the camera manipulation and maneuvering of the camera. They took somebody else's top, which is always easy in this technology world. They just put it on my body.
I disagree.
Hello, that briefcase was my briefcase. And apparently I was either on my way to synagogue or back or one of these places. That had nothing to do with me. So they just took a top randomly, they put it on me, make controversy. So it was all a bunch of fabrication, equivocation, and prevarication. Fabrication, equivocation, prevarication, fabrication, equivocation, prevarication.
Got it. Okay.
What else?
New jacket on today? Haven't seen that before. It's shining in the light. It looks great.
Thank you.
Is it new?
No, it's it's not new. It's at least a few days old. There's a great sense of humor of Miss Elegance.
So let's talk about. A lot of people want to know about your hair care, not products specifically, but do you go to a barber? Do you go to a stylist? Do you cut it yourself? What do you do to keep the locks looking so luscious?
Thank you, and shiny too. Shiny.
Absolutely.
And the thing about, as I mentioned, about that degenerate, that one who's headed for the wheelchair eventually, as I call him, Stein. I told you the last time, he has this big hair, this wig, this toupee, this falsetto, because he obviously lost all his hair by this age. With me, Miss Elegant, I don't want to mess it up. But this is all I can pull it. There's not one. I don't want to mess up my lion's mane. This is all every bit of my hair. There's no what do they call it? Called extensions and fake hair and all. This is all my original natural hair. This all. And by the way, I have never, and this is I'm talking in the eyes of God, right? Never have I used a drop of hair dye in my entire life. Yes, I touch up spots here with makeup. Never used a drop of hair dye ever, ever, ever between now and death. Never used a drop of hair dye. Okay, thank you for a nice compliment. And I use different hair products from the health store, the health food stores where I shop in, to get different products, and especially to give me a nice shimmer and a nice shine to my hair.
Got it. Yeah, it's been looking really good lately. I think the lighting is really working with it too.
And
So
I tell you, people out there, I'm working with Noah Platt, and we're getting that shirt that they want very, very soon. That soccer football shirt with the number 3 on it. Where, as a matter of fact, I have an appointment with Noah this Monday. We're going to be on a conference call. Noah will tell you about it with the person who's actually holding it in safeguard keeping for me. And we're going to try to have that shirt released with this guy who's doing me a favor, and he's going to drop it off to a store that I do business. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to bring it to Noah, and the people should be able to actually see it on eBay very, very soon. We haven't forgotten about that. Also, for the people, please, I know these shows are dynamic, they're dramatic, they're titanic. Nobody can ever do these shows like I just did. Again, another one right here as we're winding it down. Get off your tushy, get off your tuchus, and get right over and subscribe to XL and Aftershock, so you can always have the pleasure and the honor and the privilege, pleasure and honor, privilege, but to be able to see these shows that are on. I mean, they're more than phenomenal. They're more than magnificent. They're more than but you the viewers already know that. Okay.
Okay. Last question, and you kind of alluded to this earlier. With your level of knowledge, I don't want to say education, your level of knowledge, I was going to ask you what the highest level of formal education you have, but you said
I told you, 2nd grade.
So what happened after 2nd grade? Did you go into the workforce? Were you an inventor?
How could I go into the workforce, Jerry? I was 7 years old.
What did you do? What did you just sit and stare at a wall from 7 to 18?
Well, from 7 on, there was different situations going on. I wasn't always. I was with my mom, my wonderful mama, may she rest in peace. Then I was with my father for many years, and it was just back and forth. And so that never came to be. But I want to close the show with this one thing. I'm glad you asked that. People are curious of a lot of my upbringing. I just want to tell you this here, that there's never been, and I've said this before, I've come in contact with the toughest and the roughest, the infamous, the famous, in my lifetime. Gangsters, weaklings, everybody, professional people, dignified people, cesspool scum of the earth, the highest level of people. There's never been a person of higher kindness and goodness and niceness than Marilyn Sachs Hoffman. May she rest in peace always. This person here, Marilyn, my wonderful mama, gave charity to orphanages, to people at holiday time where they didn't have even clothes on their back. And my wonderful mama was in poverty. She would take like a couple of $100. In those days, in the 50s, that was like a couple of $1,000s today. She had a husband, Joseph Gordon, who worked for Weston Electric, our second husband. They only were making like $80 a week in those times. She had a couple of $100, buy all gifts, little pants outfits, little dress outfits for the girls, take me to the orphanage up in the Bronx, take a taxi cab, wrap them up, all the presents and gift wrap paper. I mean, this was a person of magnanimity, of munificence, of beneficence, always believed in God, always believed in the coming of Mashiach, always believed in the next world, sanctifying, talking. I think I mentioned, I see my wonderful mama talking in the street. I think she's talking to herself. She tells me she's talking to dear God. This is a woman of faith. When she used to belong to the Hadassah Club, my wonderful mom, and that's like a Jewish ladies club, a Jewish club. When she would come into a room, my wonderful mama, Marilyn, Adele, Sachs, Gordon, Offen Gordon, those were her maiden names and married names. People would stand up. Everybody would stand up like a saint, like an angel, like a prophet walked into the room. Full of life person, robust, full of life, love to laugh, love to enjoy life every single minute, and always wanting to do acts of goodness and kindness, and just to get to ingratiate herself and to be on the right side of dear God in heaven.
I think that's a great place to stop, and I think that also opens up some more doors for information that the fans definitely want to know about your past. So we'll get to that in the next episode. Any final parting words?
Yes, Shane. Make sure you don't forget. Get off your derriere. Get off your rump. Get off your backside. Hurry up. Don't wait. Don't wait a second. I'm giving you a directive. A directive. You know what a directive is? It's an order. It's a command. Miss Elegant, get off your tuchus. Get off your cone. Get off your cone. Get right over there to your computer. It's a mafia word for computer. Get right over there. Subscribe to XL and Aftershock, so you'll never have to miss one solitary single episode of Miss Elegant, which is the Miss Elegant, the icon, phenom, extraordinaire. Goodbye, Jerry.
Goodbye. Have a wonderful weekend.